has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, we shift into the second hour here on C2C. Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's free. You'll like it. You can watch the network on there. You can listen to the network on there. It literally has everything on the app, including in-game odds. And you can follow all your favorite hosts like Carver High. It's all on the SportsGrid app on iOS and Android. Get it in the Play Store for Android. Hey, listen, check us out on X. You can actually watch SportsGrid streaming live on X at sportsgrid /live. Just go to sportsgrid /live and you're good to go. And it's very exciting. All right, we shift into Tua Tagovailoa and his recent attempts to get back on the football field for this week 8.
Yes, and those attempts will start tomorrow when the Dolphins have practice. He's expected to practice in full and be cleared from concussion protocol, which he has been in, of course, since week 2 for the Dolphins. All right, let's start. We got a couple here from Tua. Here's the first one, Scotty. Of course, a lot of people have had a lot to say about Tua, the narrative surrounding his concussion, if he should play again, et cetera, et cetera. Here's Tua talking about all that.
I just think it's based off of whatever that individual feels. If you feel like you can go, you can go. I just think this is only becoming a thing just because of what ended up happening 2 years ago for myself within the sport. I hate that it's happened, but we don't look at boxers the same way. We don't look at hockey players the same way. But I just think because of what happened and the magnitude that it's becoming more of an issue here in the league.
Yeah, listen, well, first of all, I want to stop him right there dead in his tracks because hockey does have a problem with it. And what's funny about the NHL is, and I have said this for years, it is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life and I'm friends with Gary Bettman, okay? I have been friends with Gary for a long time, but I have never seen anything like his ignorance about CTE and concussions. You know why? He wants nothing to do with talking about brain damage because he's worried about being sued. That is it. The NHL will not acknowledge they have a concussion, CTE, brain damage, or otherwise brain injuries. They do not discuss it because they are worried about lawsuits. And where do they get that worry from? From the National Football League, who somehow got away with concussions and a lawsuit of having to pay almost $800 million, which they should have paid $10 billion of. Once again, the NFL wins in court. That is like a bill at McDonald's to them, $800 million, when it should have been $10 to $20 billion in a civil lawsuit about brain damage. I am not listening to this kid tell me anything about concussions and brain damage, or for that matter, dementia. I have been around advanced dementia, and I'm around it right now, living in it with my family. And I know someone that is suffering from it so bad at the age of 67 that individual is brain dead. That individual is spoon-fed every bite of food every day. That individual is taking a crane to get out of bed. A crane lifts this individual out of bed. This individual cannot walk. This individual knows no one. This individual was a scientist, a genius. And at 67, the problem is that individual's heart is still beating like a 30-year-old, and her body lets her live on suffering with this disease. And let me tell you something. ALS, same thing. This kid is headed for all of that and then some. Keep playing football, keep having 15 concussions, and you're going to be a noodle. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not listening to anybody about this when I've been living in it, watching someone dying in front of my very eyes, and I saw multiple parents and grandparents have it. Christ, I'll probably get it. And for what? I'm not getting racked every day and concussed playing in the NFL. The bottom line is, I'm going to say it for the 15,000th time. This kid's just stupid. He's just a stupid kid who thinks it's not going to happen to him. And he even said the other day, he said it right on this show. He said, I'm going to die trying. I'd rather die than quit playing football. Well, then now I know you're really stupid. Like, who in their right mind says something like that? No one should say something like that. I'm going to die trying. I mean, it's insanity. This kid cannot take a hit, and that's all there is to it. And all these people in the NFL that are going to let him go out and keep playing football, you all deserve what's coming. You all deserve it. You know what? I hope it happens to you too, because you think it's so not a big deal what's happening to this kid's brain, that it's his decision. And I hear all these guys on ESPN, it's his call. He's got to make this call himself. He's a pro football player. He loves the game. Shut up. Shut your face. Everyone that says that's a moron and an idiot. This kid's had his brain racked 5 times. He's headed for a life of misery. And I will never stop saying it. So screw anybody that doesn't like it. I don't care what you think of me. Go ahead.
Well, here's I'll get you going more. Here's one more for him. He understands the risks that are involved in what he's doing.
Well, how much risk do we take when we get up in the morning to go drive to work?
None.
Get into a car crash, maybe. I don't know.
None.
Everything I think takes risk. So
to
answer that question, every time we all suit up, we're all taking a risk that we could potentially get hurt, whether it's a concussion, a broken bone, anything. You get up off of the bed the wrong way, you potentially could risk you spraining your ankle. There's just risk in any and everything. And
now that's Anthony Davis.
I'm willing to play the odds.
Now listen, he will not acknowledge that he's had his brain racked 5 times. Once in Tuscaloosa and 4 times in the NFL. He didn't even get hit on the last one by Hamlin. Like, it was like the most unbelievable. He slid into him. It was like a cream puff slide. And the guy was on the ground like he was like this. And you know what? This is the exact same position he's going to be in 20 years. In a wheelchair. And you're going to feed him in a tube. That's what he's going to look like. And I'm right. Listen, ask anyone that knows anything about, go to BU. Go to Boston University where they study CTE and ask the doctors there what's going to happen to this kid with his 15 concussions. Listen, I remember a kid, and don't get me started again, Carver High, on Patrick Stefan. Remember that kid? What's he now? He's a noodle. He can't even, my man, he walks sideways. He's got vertigo. His brain is so screwed up. He had so many concussions. The NHL, they don't acknowledge concussions. Police. You know how many guys are skating around in the NHL with concussions every night in games that start at 6 o'clock tonight? All night long. I bet there's a guy on every team with a concussion right now playing with it.
Look, he could say, why isn't it talked about? It is talked about. NHL, it is talked about with fighters. I mean, Mafia was just telling me about, I can't believe this Cowboy Cerrone's trying to come back, and everybody's saying he shouldn't because he's taken so many hits to the head.
Cowboy Cerrone, Jesus Christ.
It's not
when will it
the reason
end with this guy. He's like 90.
The reason that he could say it's none of them are the NFL. And when it happens in the NFL, it's the biggest game, it's the biggest spotlight. And that's why. I mean, there's people that talk about these other things, just not on the same scale as what's happened to him.
Helmet because he
doesn't want to wear it.
He's too cool for that. Apparently,
doesn't want to wear it. Doesn't want to wear it.
He's gonna have another one. I bet he lasts 2 games before he has another one.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
27.5, and it's even money for them to go over. Double down on it. Chicago under 27.5 wins. I know we did the preview. If I'm right, Matt, I think if we go back and people look at the tape, I think we went under 28.5 when it happened, and I'm doubling down with 27.5. They don't get there.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Listen, a couple things. I had open heart surgery. It's very serious. It's not something you joke about. People have brain damage or dementia. This is not something to take lightly. And then third, that's like somebody getting prostate or colon cancer and just ignoring it. Like, I'm not, a lot of guys will say, oh, I'm not having no sex, so I'm not doing this chemo and radiation on my prostate. I'm not having my prostate cut out. No way, because I won't be able to have sex. How stupid are you? I mean, honestly, I'd be the doctor that would just have to come in and go, listen, you're an idiot. I just need to tell you, you're going to die. So I just want to know how stupid you are, because I don't want to waste a lot of time with you if you're this stupid. Now, you want to have brain damage? Now, there's a couple things that in life that you won't do well without. One, your heart. Two, your brain. Okay? And once you lose either one of those, you're done. Okay? You're done. Okay? The ticker and the brain. Okay? And the fact that everyone's like, I actually heard Damian Woody, who I'm friends with, say, and it has no bearing on my friendship with D. Woody, is that he said, I'd welcome him back with open arms. It's his decision. He's a grown man. He wants to play football. Let him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you let your mom drive off a cliff in a Cadillac and go down into a valley 300 feet below into a pile of rocks? Because that's where he's headed. I mean, it's unbelievable to me, some of the things that I've been hearing people say about this. It's laughable to me. It really is disgusting to me that we live in an age and society that thinks it's okay for this guy to keep playing football and having multiple concussions, like 5 of them. Let's see if we can get him up to 10. Can we get an over-under on how many times he's going to have one before he's breathing through a tube shoved down his throat in a wheelchair? I want to see, how many do you think we can get, Carver? Can you get a sports book to put a number up on an over-under? Can we get a 10? Can we get a 10? Give me a 10, 9, 9. Can we get an 8, 8.5? I mean, how many is it going to take before someone stops him from ruining his life? I'm sick of hearing about I talked to my mother and father, my family, and everything. Can you imagine your family encouraging you to keep going? Can you imagine a family that says, you've had 5, you might as well go get 4 more? Can you imagine the conversation of the idiots of his family not telling him to quit? Like, it'd be all over if I was his father. You'd be done. So my son had 2 knee surgeries. That was it. I said, you're done playing basketball. It's over. He got veins in his kneecaps, giant golf ball sized veins, varicose veins. He can't walk. And you want to keep playing basketball? It's over. Now he smokes dope and plays golf. He'll be a scratch golfer in 3 years. Carver High plays golf. You don't see him out there having brain damage out at the Cape Cod Irish Open. And all of this, you can say whatever you want. I'm hot-winded, long-winded. I never stop. I will never stop talking about something I know something about, okay, that I've seen in my own family, that I've seen kill people. I've seen people with way less damage to their brain and way more damage to their brain because of dementia and because of Alzheimer's. I mean, this guy's got Alzheimer's. They might as well change his name from Tagovailoa to Alzheimer's on the back of his jersey. I mean, this guy's doomed. Doomed. I'll bet my life on it. He said he would play until he's dead. I'd rather die than quit. I will bet my life that he has no future. No future at all. He's going to be in a wheelchair with a tube shoved down his throat because he's had so many brain concussions and brain damage playing in the National Football League. As long as Roger doesn't get sued, that's all they want. They want their ratings and their money. That's all they care about. They don't care who wins the games, all their fixed games that end with under 3 points. Everything that goes on in that league is about money and profit. That's it. That's all they care about. Money. They don't care about the players' health. The players, I mean, you know what they are? They're the gladiators. You remember they used to throw them in there with the lions and they'd watch them get eaten alive? That's what the NFL is. And I'm right about that, too. Thanks so much.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, that's for sure. But sounds like he'll be back out there when the Dolphins play the Cardinals on Sunday at 1 o'clock at Hard Rock. So there you go. They've been bad without him, that's for sure. So they're 3-point favorites, by the way.
Who cares if they're
Thursday
bad
night.
him? They're going to be real bad when he's finished playing.
He's like we said, the family part for me is what really I don't like you said, I don't get. Like his family sitting down with him, and I guess maybe I'm sure there was someone in that room who voted, maybe this isn't a good idea, and he's probably
the money to keep coming in. That's what they want.
And he's probably just not listening to them either. Is probably what's going on.
He's paying all their bills and mortgages. I guarantee you that.
Week 8, but that stuff's going to be paid for anyway, whether he never plays again. That stuff's paid for. I mean, it's just
now to never work another day in his life. He can smoke dope all day long and sit on the pipeline in Hawaii and watch surfers and bang surfboards all day on the pipeline and love life and smell the roses. Never work another day in his life. And instead, he chooses to keep having concussions. What a genius. I got to tell you. I mean, he's one of the smartest people I've seen come along the stretch in a long time. I got to tell you. I mean, this guy's, brilliant.
Week 8 will begin on Thursday night, of course, with the Rams and the Vikings at SoFi in Los Angeles. Cooper Kupp has been gone for weeks now. He will be back, though, on Thursday night. And then there was the report today that he might not be with the Rams for long. Trade deadline is 2 weeks from today, and the Rams are willing to deal Kupp, it sounds like, and to pay a portion of his salary. And the thing that you said earlier, he's hurt so much. He's made of glass. Like even listening to McVay yesterday, like he's like, he's going to be out there. I really don't know yet how much I'm going to get out of him. Like how much he's going to be out there for me. So why are you bringing him back then if that's the case? But I think that it's still a good ad for someone. It's helpful if he could stay on the field. If he can stay on the field, it's helpful.
I don't know. He's kind of become Adam Thielen to me. Like, he doesn't matter anymore. Like, after a while, they've just become ravaged with injuries. I'll tell you another thing. The guy I'd be worried about on that team is Puka Shells because he's a talent and he's all banged up and they stink.
He's back to practice this week. They're opening the window for Puka.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. Ready? I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
27.5. And it's even money for them to go over. Double down on it. Chicago under 27.5 wins. I know we did the preview. If I'm right, Matt, I think if we go back and people look at the tape, I think we went under 28.5 when it happened. And I'm doubling down with 27.5. They don't get there.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I would rather have a blown out knee, ACL, MCL. I'd rather break my hand, tear my rotator cuff, tear my labrum, have an oblique, break my ribs, break my foot, have a Liz Frank, not an Achilles. That'd probably be that's a game changer right there. But any of the above, I'd rather have than multiple concussions, because in my view, multiple concussions is the end of your career. It's the end of you. No one wants a player around. The Miami Dolphins are lying to themselves. No one wants a player around that can't take a hit because they got brain damage. And they don't even like to call it brain damage because that word is just so dangerous, so rogue. But that's exactly what it is. He's got brain damage. Can't take a hit. This is the NFL. It's a 35, 40 mile an hour car crash every time someone carries the ball. I would rather break my neck than have brain damage. Honestly, what isn't that what did Luck in the neck? He gave up football because of his neck. Sometimes you just have to look at your situation and be like, I'm screwed. My career's over. I have brain damage. This kid won't do it. So whatever happens to him, he's got coming. So it's best served cold. You know what I mean? This type of stuff, if you're such a badass that you think you're above all of it, then he's going to have to learn the hard way. So serve it up nice and ice cold, and I'll sit back and watch. And you know what? The networks, they don't like showing when he's wigging out. You know what? I want to get the producer that does. I really do. The same guy that shows the hot chicks in the crowd for that reason. We need that type of camera guy that's going to show us him wigging out on the field, because that's what I want to see. Because, if you want to keep playing and keep having brain damage, I want to sit back and enjoy it. It's like theater to me, watching him noodle out every time he gets hit, because he can't take a hit. Say whatever you want about me, because I'm right.
The Vikings and the Rams Thursday night. Here is Kevin O'Connell, who, of course, was on McVay's staff when the Rams won the Super Bowl a few years back. Now he's been the head coach of Minnesota the last few years. He will always love Sean. He's always going to be one of his best friends. Very emotional.
No, he's one of my closest friends in this league. I have so much love for him, and that's been well documented. But you're right; these seasons get going, and it ends up being a text message here and there versus when a guy that had an incredible impact on not only my coaching career but just me as a human.
Made me a man.
I have so much respect for him, how he runs that organization, his leadership, his football intellect.
He took me to that swingers party.
He's as good as it gets, and I've got nothing but love for him.
Oh, my God.
Nothing but love.
What? Can you pass the cheese?
Nothing but love.
Honestly.
Nothing but love. The Vikings are 3-point favorites on the road at SoFi Thursday night. Healthy total here, 48.5.
Here's the question. I mean, they're flat out better than the Rams, right? So they
Correct.
are flat out better than the Rams. But will they recover from losing to the Lions or lose 2 in a row? Because, remember the Saints. They scored 50 points and they scored 47 points. Everybody had them in the Super Bowl. Remember when their odds skyrocketed with the sports books? The sports books will take anything and run with it and take your money. Literally. They'll take anything they can get to get you to be a sucker. They love suckers. And here's the deal. They lost to the Lions. Now will they recover from that and go out and win in LA because they're a better team, flat out, than the Rams? The Rams, to me, are weak. I had the Raiders +7. They covered, didn't they? I mean, even the lousy, crappy, worthless Raiders covered against them. That's how bad the Rams are. The Vikings have to beat them.
I like the Rams on Thursday night. I'm on the Rams. In fact, I think they could beat them outright. The Rams are different at home. I think they're going to be spunky. I think that this is a short week on the road. Is not great for Minnesota. I think that it's, like you said, tough to come back. Tough loss against the Lions, going on the road. If Kupp's back and he's actually capable of doing some things, I think they're going to be in this. And I think they can even win the game. I like the Rams on Thursday night. I don't know why. I'll probably be hitting. I'll probably be dumping. I'll be going. The Guinness is so much Guinness on Thursday night that's probably going to affect me.
Yeah, everything's affecting you. This trip to the COD, it happens every year. You start slipping away from us. And it starts on Monday, and then Tuesday it bleeds into Wednesday. By Thursday, we don't even know you. And you're already, picking teams that suck to win games. You're drunk already. There's something wrong.
Want to know who to draft and who to avoid in fantasy football? Or want to know who to place NFL season future bets on? Get an insider edge from the former NFL team doctors at Sports Injury Central. The 2024 NFL preseason injury guide is the only in-depth injury report analyzing all 32 teams and over 150 players. So go to sixscore.com to get the most accurate NFL preseason injury report. That's sixscore.com.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. Brady, I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, so I got to hear this. Your boy Brian Daboll is talking about keeping Daniel Jones as the starter. I'm done with the Danny Dimes nonsense, okay? Just so we're clear. I'm done using that and all that rhetoric. He hasn't thrown a dime, I don't know, in how long. I can't keep track of all of his misery, honestly.
Well, it's actually been, at least at home at MetLife Stadium, it's been 659 days since he's thrown a touchdown pass there. January 1st, 2023 was the last time he threw a touchdown pass at home at MetLife. Now, he was injured last year too. That's fine. You want to throw that in. But they played.
He's going to start eating pills.
Well, obviously after the game on Sunday where they had 119 yards in total offense, he was asked, and he immediately said, no, he's still my starter. So then media had to go and ask him again yesterday. After watching all that film, did you change your mind? Are you still going to go with Daniel Jones moving forward? Here's Brian.
After watching the film, are you still planning to stick with Daniel Jones this week as the starter?
I am.
What goes into that decision, and what did the film show when you rewatched the game?
Yeah, well, I think he gives us the best chance. Number one, I thought, there were a lot of plays that he did exactly what he needed to do. And then, look, there were some plays where it wasn't just on Daniel. It was a collection of things. It wasn't just one person, a protection or a route. It was a collective deal. And, we'll sit here, we'll watch the tape, and we'll do everything we can do to be better this week.
Watch it again.
Listen,
and watch the tape again.
The funny thing about these guys, they take this job in New York always. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't take a job as the head coach of the New York Football Giants or the Jets for that matter? And anyone that is asked is going to take the job. It's, the problem lies in that none of them recognize at the time they get all that money and that job in that big city that they're going to be eaten alive by the media on a daily basis until they're ready to jump off a bridge. I mean, this guy looks to me like he's about halfway to the bottle and a handful of pills. I mean, he looks like every time you ask him a question, he looks like he would literally rather be kidnapped and sex trafficked somewhere into South America. I mean, honestly, do you see this guy? And I know he's shooting that Ozempic in his belly. There's no way he lost 100 pounds just having salads out at the complex. This guy's stressed out. He is stressed out. It's written all over his face. And he hates the media. And he regrets and rues the day that he took the job because he's like, who needs this? Like, I saw a thing the other day with Robert Saleh. He's laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, this guy's getting paid millions to do nothing. And I'd be in Costa Rica right now on a beach smoking a fatty. I mean, this guy is just raking paychecks, and they're losing still. This guy, Ulbrich, can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. And meanwhile, I got this guy, Rodgers, on TV every day on network TV doing interviews. As if he matters, that old washed-up 41-year-old goat. I mean, honestly, he's a finished old man. That's what he is. Here's what happens. In the NFL, you start thinking you can play at 40, you're tripping. Okay? It's over. I mean, these guys, what do they get rid of running backs by the time they're 32? Quarterbacks think they can go till they're what, 50? I mean, this guy's nuts. And that coach, that new coach, they call him Brick and everything else, he's another one. He don't know what's hitting him in the side of the head. I mean, honestly, Mike.
You're not going to get any argument from me. That's just we said that train was going to go off the tracks, and it has rather spectacularly. The Giants are in Pittsburgh. They'll be at the place the Steelers play on Monday night. 5.5 is the number here today with a 36.5 total.
This is going to be a beatdown like the Jets got. That's what this is going to be. There's going to be another one right here. This is another one right here. Just chalk it up. Beatdown time. They cannot stop them. They have no defense. They cannot stop them. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. And they can't get a first down. How are they going to score on that defense? I mean, this game's already over. They should cancel it. I sold the tickets so fast, make your head spin. You know why? I don't want to pay all that money to fly there, stay there, eat in fancy 5-star restaurants to watch the Steelers cook the Giants for dinner. They're going to cook them like beef stew. They're going to have like a witch. It's going to be like a Halloween stew. She's going to be like a Witches of Eastwick. She's going to be stirring that stew. They're going to stew them up. Carver High. Steelers big.
Steelers big. Lions, of course, are now at the top of the NFC North, 5-1 after beating the Vikings on Sunday. 2 from Dan Campbell today. We'll do the serious one first, then we'll do the funny one. He wants the NFC to go through Detroit, and they're on the.
We're saying everything needs to run through Detroit, and to do that, you got to win your division games.
They don't want to play the 49ers in that fixed game at Stonewatch Denim Jeans that they played in, that they were up by 50 and lost inexplicably, balls bouncing off guys' helmets and being caught. It was the most unbelievable. The Super Bowl Falcons and the Lions against the Niners, the 2 greatest choke jobs I've ever seen. They are the best team in the NFC, and they need to win games, win out, and play all your games at Ford Field. Now, remember, they played at Ford Field against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs and almost lost. I mean, Mayfield had the ball with a chance to win the game, and he threw a pick, and the game ended. And everybody went, woo, that was close. So nothing is guaranteed in the NFL ever. Nothing is automatic unless it's the Steelers playing the Giants.
Nothing is automatic. Also from Dan, this was pretty good yesterday. So last week, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, of course, noted Cowboy fan, called Campbell classless for how he ran up the score against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago at Jerry's World. They just finally got around to asking Dan about this yesterday.
Chris Christie was really mad at you about the Cowboys, being mean to the Cowboys. So you ran up the score. I'm sure you heard the comments. What's your reaction to being mean?
No, it's the only thing. The last time somebody called me classless, I was drinking wine out of a bottle. All right. So, but no, it's all good. I'm not worrying about it.
Wine out of a bottle.
I can't even fathom that people still listen or care what Chris Christie has to say about anything. Do you remember when they were trying to give him a job on WFAN in New York? I had seen it all. Like, I was like, really? But he's a sports fan, so they're going to give him a talk show on WFAN. I mean, that's almost as bad as bringing Sterling out of the coffin to call Yankees games in the postseason. I mean, they got to get somebody over there that knows how to make decisions, apparently. I can do it.
They do have to.
I'm not putting Fatso on the radio or bringing the Tales of the Crypt out of the casket to call games. Here's a pop fly deep, and it's gone. Oh, wonderful. It's so wonderful. Giancarlo. Like, oh my God. I want to stick a 9 Glock in my mouth.
The Lions do have some bad news. Wide receiver Jamison Williams is facing a 2-game suspension for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. Now, we don't know yet what this is about. Hopefully it's not like Canelo, the red meat, or the meat down in Mexico. 2 games, it sounds like he's going to get.
It can't be anything significant if it's only 2 games. Can you just let the guy do the juice and get the gas in him and cheat? Like, who cares anymore who's cheating? Honestly.
They play at home against – they're home for Tennessee this week, are the Lions. So.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What
in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
27.5. And it's even money for them to go over. Double down on it. Chicago under 27.5 wins. I know we did the preview. If I'm right, Matt, I think if we go back and people look at the tape, I think we went under 28.5 when it happened. And I'm doubling down with 27.5. They don't get there.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So, Carver High, I guess your boy Debo was banged up and sick, because what happened to him?
Well, yeah, I mean, he got hospitalized with pneumonia. I know I said yesterday, I was never questioning whether he was sick or not. My questioning is the 49ers' practices of letting people know that people are sick or injured. That is I never disputed that the guy was hurt. The guy clearly is sick. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's in there with pneumonia, but they don't do a good job of getting that information out there. So we'll see what happens with Samuel this week. Of course, we have Dallas and the Niners on Sunday night, which I know everybody I know it's a big game. It's always a big game when the Niners and the Cowboys get together. But the loser of this game on Sunday night, they're going to be in big trouble, mister, heading down the stretch because neither of these teams have played well so far. And right now, let me give you the number on that quick. Right now, that is sitting at, where did that go for me? 4.5 for the Niners on Sunday night with a 46.5. 3-3 Cowboys, 3-4 Niners. Not a good scene.
Yeah, they just can't possibly. Look, they can't beat the Chiefs, but they can beat anybody else. I think they'll get back to 500 and win this game against Dallas at Levi's. They're not losing 2 in a row at home at that place. I don't see that. And I think Dallas has all kinds of issues. All kinds of issues.
They got a lot of problems right now. Week 9 scheduling flex. This is, of course, next week. Colts-Vikings will now be the Sunday night game. Eagles-Jags was the Sunday night game. They said goodbye to that. I can't blame them. The Jags are awful. To 4:05 that will go. So a little Colts-Vikings next week, Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Raiders signed former Falcons quarterback Desmond Ridder. That's because Aiden O'Connell, of course, going on the IR with his injuries. They're, of course, going to go with Minshew. Ridder will be the backup. Bailey Zappi goes to the Browns. They signed him off the Chiefs practice squad. Looks like it'll be Jameis Winston this week for Cleveland, with Zappi being the backup. As they get ready. And did you see the Keon Coleman booking.com
I can't believe you didn't run it. It's so funny. How do you not run
we can't play the commercial on our air. We can't play the commercial. But he's like
you can't
by
even play
Niagara.
A portion of it. It was so funny when he's like in the Niagara Falls. I mean, this guy, it is hilarious.
It's hilarious. It was also strange the way they kept cutting to like different things. I don't know. My head was spinning a little bit with all of it. It was pretty wild. So go check out Keon Coleman with the Booking.com commercial that he's doing as he takes his trip to Niagara Falls. There you go. NFL for us. We'll have a lot more tomorrow and the rest of the week. But tonight is NBA opening night. We're tipping off, Scotty. This is, I think, the earliest I can remember. October 22nd. The NBA going at 2 games tonight and then a full slate tomorrow night. to get the 24-25 NBA season underway. Of course, the Celtics are our champions. They will be at home for the Knicks tonight, the banner raising, the whole deal. Now, we know that playing and coaching in Boston, in any sport, there's a lot of pressure, right? I mean, that's a tough city to play and coach in. This guy, Mazzulla, though, he's like a different kind of cat. With the way, I guess, he thinks, the way he feels. They asked him about the pressure of defending and keeping it going, and he just really wasn't having any of that, Scotty.
But what kind of pressure do you feel to kind of maximize this opportunity that you have with this group?
Zero. No pressure. We're all going to be dead soon, and it really doesn't matter anymore, so there's zero pressure. You're either going to win or you're not. And when you win, you try to forget about it a week later, and when you lose, you try to forget about it a week later. And so it's not pressure, it's an opportunity. And we have an opportunity here over the next few years, however long we're together. I've said this in the past, we have an opportunity to carry the organization forward, to double down on the tradition and the history of what this organization has. And what else would you expect than someone expecting you to win all the time? I wouldn't want someone expecting me to lose all the time. That would be debilitating. So we have an expectation to win. We have great character, great talent, and we just have to work to maximize that, and we're going to rely on the players to do that.
Listen, all I know is he said, we're all going to be dead soon. That's all I heard.
It's funny. He referenced that because there's another 7 minutes of that. So he mentions, we're all going to be dead, win or lose, one way or the other. At the end, he looked at the reporters and he's just like, in my funeral in 40 years, none of you guys are invited. He said, I'm going to have a funeral in 40 years, none of you guys are invited to it. He's a different dude, Mazzulla. He's a different cat.
Yeah, whatever. I think he's a tool, and he's got a ring, so it doesn't matter what anyone thinks of him in Boston. He already won it. He won a championship. When you win a championship in the NBA, you're set. That's it. It doesn't matter if you win one. Doesn't matter if you win as many as Riley, as many as LeBron, as many as Jordan. It doesn't matter. I mean, did the big fella get it? The Joker, did he get a ring? Yes. Did he get the MVP? Yes. Did he get the Finals MVP? Yes. What else is there? No wonder he likes his horses more. Once you win one, they don't even care. I told you, this league is built around money. All they care about is the money they make. They make so much G-damn money, it's not even funny. None of them care about winning or losing at all. All they want is that money. I mean, if you make it to the NBA, you are going to be rich. That's it. You're going to be set for life. I don't care who you are. The 12th man on the team is making millions. I mean, that's it. And the best players make hundreds of millions of dollars. Every contract. Everyone. And then they stack 3 or 4 of them, and by the time they're done, they made $1 billion. Set for life. They don't care about winning, losing, playing. Do you think that MB gives a rat's ass about playing Wednesday against the Bucks, that he's not playing, or George? Paul George has missed so many games in his career, it's like blowing a fart. He could care less. How about Kawhi Leonard? You talk about a guy that doesn't care about playing. That guy hasn't cared about playing since he was at San Diego State. Honestly, he only cares about payday. He knows when payday is.
Always got to go to the window at payday. That's what matters. As long as you're going to the window for payday, you'll be fine. We'll come back and I'll give you the numbers for both of tonight's games. Knicks, Celtics, and the Lakers and the Timberwolves in the game number 2.
Whoa.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take the room.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
27.5. And it's even money for them to go over. Double down on it. Chicago under 27.5 wins. I know we did the preview. If I'm right, Matt, I think if we go back and people look at the tape, I think we went under 28.5 when it happened. And I'm doubling down with 27.5. They don't get there.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so you got these two big games tonight at the Garden in Boston, which I hate that PA announcer. JB43 does it the whole game. Honestly, I want to jump. And then the late games at the Crypt in Lipstick City, where the Lakers are taking on the T-Wolves. Shake it out.
Yep. Knicks Celtics here. So this line has moved quite a bit. It was 4.5 yesterday. It was 5.5 this morning. So now it's 6. I've even seen some 6.5s around as well. So the Celtics, I'll give you a flat 6 at this moment with a 222 for the total. In the Tatum era, which is, of course, the last few years, at home, when the Celtics opened the season at home, 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread. They're raising the banner tonight. All of that. Who do you got, Scotty, tonight in Boston?
What did they lose 2 games at home the whole year? So they don't
Something
lose
like that.
there, and they're the champs, and they're the best team in the NBA, and the Knicks aren't. The Knicks are building something special. They got their work cut out for them. I bet it at 5.5. I think the Celtics will beat them, but you know who I'm rooting for. I want the Knicks to win, and I'm rooting for the Knicks. I just think it's going to be a relatively long night. But look, Brunson's a badass, and if he gets that pick and roll going with Cat Towns, when Cat Towns is lazy and just stands out on the wing and shoots threes, they're very, I think he's always been very beatable. He never did anything in Minnesota. And I think the Knicks will be very beatable if that's all he does. But if he gets a pick and roll going and takes advantage of his skill and size around, from 15 foot down, downhill from the free throw line in, from the elbows in, I think he could be a dangerous commodity for the Knicks. Remember, they don't have Precious, but it's not like that's the end of the world. And, Shamet, he sucks anyway. I don't want to hear it that, they're worried about his injuries. He sucks to begin with. He shouldn't be on the team. Let's get real. They'll lose tonight in Boston.
Yeah, he stinks. In the second game, of course, we'll be in Los Angeles for the Lakers and the T-Wolves. T-Wolves -1 now as the road favorite. 222, same total in the night game. Tell me who you like, and then I've got some specials for you for tonight.
I think the T-Wolves are better than the Lakers. They're a very dangerous team, and they got great players. So I don't deny LeBron's greatness, and I do think his son is terrible. And they treat him like he's royalty or something. It's embarrassing to me that he's on that team. It really is. He should be playing in the G League. That's just all there is to it. He should still be in college. He's not an NBA player.
I do believe. I still think that tonight is a complete it's a complete setup. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to play 5 minutes, and then you're not going to see him again. I think he's going to be where he belongs. I don't think he's going to be running with this team at all. He's not ready to play in the NBA, and I think that they're going to do the spectacle tonight with him and LeBron playing together for a few minutes, and I think that's all you're going to get is that. Now, they've given you some specials here if you want to try it, because I think LeBron's, if it happens, LeBron's going to give him the rock, and he's going to try to get him his points. Over 1.5 points, plus 140. Under 1.5 points, minus 170. To score 5 or more points, plus 450. To make a 3, plus 160. 2 threes, plus 550. 2 boards, plus 175. 2 assists, plus 500.
Yes,
Bronny specials tonight. Bronny specials.
Just stop.
Come
with
on.
All of it.
I'll
0.
play the 1.5 at plus 140. I'll play him for a bucket. One bucket.
So 1 bucket that he scores and has 2 points, that's the whole bet. Well, fair enough. That's the only bet I'd make.
That's the only bet of all those specials they have listed that I would even consider is him just to make a bucket.
Dropping 2 dimes, and I mean, I dropped 2 dimes last night, easy. But for him to drop 2 dimes, I think that is a lot of work. He's not going to get that much burn.
I don't expect. I think this is a complete farce, a show tonight. That's all it is. It's going to be. They've already got the guy on ESPN Windhorst saying, "Watch early in the second quarter," like it's pre-planned. He's going to come in the game, play for 5 minutes with his dad, and he's going to go to the G League. It's all it's a show. That's all that it is tonight.
You're
He's not
right,
staying
then.
with the team.
There you
Nonsense.
go. Sayonara.
And we'll all be better off because we won't have to then hear the stories
preseason
every
of minus 40? Like, it's
something,
embarrassing.
Something like that. Something like that.
Guardians, despite being at home in the land, were a home underdog against Tarek Skubal. Enter Lane Thomas, maybe one of the under-the-radar trade deadline acquisitions being dealt from the Nationals. He was huge in the ALDS.
A heavy favorite for the New York Yankees in the series. You're going to look to their best 2 ball players to be those MVPs. That's Juan Soto and it's Aaron Judge.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
That kid on the 2-point conversion play was wide open on the right side of the end zone, and the kid threw it about 15 rows over his head.
People crystallized Georgia and Alabama. They put them on the shelf above everyone else, and they're just not there this year. I thought the kid Beck was great on Saturday, but they barely beat Mississippi State, who is porous.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.